This is way better than we could have ever imagined, as we have yet again a huge brand new report from the most notable Jays insiders surrounding some huge information regarding the Jays and Ross Atkins' plans heading into this offseason, as following a past couple of days of meetings and, of course, talks with agents, with players. We have some bombshell new updates surrounding the Jays' plans, and folks, things are even better than expected, and the Jays are about to break the MLB. We're going to break down all of that and more on this episode, and you're going to want to stay tuned until the end of this one because this one is crazy. We also have the Jays, specifically John Schneider, getting absolutely robbed out of an award, and it is absolutely ludicrous. A ton to go over today, folks, but before we get into it all, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, you guys have been absolute beasts of the support, and it truly means the world to myself. We're on the road to the big goal of 30,000 subscribers, and 25,000 subscribers is a smaller goal. Folks, ton of things to go over today here. And let's just dive right into it. Ben Nicholson-Smith dropped an article late last night into, of course, some new stuff coming out this morning. The Blue Jays are drawing early attention at MLB's GM meetings. They're in every market, one agent told Shi Davidi and Ben Nicholson-Smith. And I'm going to dive into the full article here. Of course, Shi Davidi, Ben Nicholson-Smith, the two most notable insiders for the Jays that there is. There's no doubt about it. They're 100% accurate with their reporting. And they said some very interesting things. Let's start with this because, folks, it just keeps getting better. One prominent agent believes the American League champions will find a more receptive audience for their pitches this winter, too, having shown the baseball world how success looks like north of the border. And the pitch is not an actual pitch, but of course, they're pitched to the free agents about why they should come to Toronto. Baseball tends to have a pack mentality, and between seeing players succeed and the enthusiasm of Canada, it should be easier for them to get players this offseason. And, folks, this is stuff that we haven't really heard before. And yes, there's been a lot of reports, and I see you guys in the comments about, okay, haven't we heard this before about, players similar to Kyle Tucker and with Shohei Ohtani? This is different. There is a new sentiment and feeling around free agency now, where it's reporters like Shi Davidi, Ben Nicholson-Smith, or in this case, agents of other players, free agents, just there's like Shane Bieber, who could have become a free agent, opting into his deal, and even just reporters from outside of Canada, the John Heymans of the world, saying, hey, it's as simple as this. Players want to go to Canada. And now, again, the pack mentality is going to favor the Toronto Blue Jays in a big, big way. And for it to be easier for them to get players this offseason is fantastic. But to go on to say from a second agent, they described the Blue Jays as hungry and acting like the big boys, while both representatives said Toronto was involved on the top end, starting pitchers, back end relievers, top position players, and talent from Asia. They're in every market. Folks, this truly could not have gotten off to a better start. Now, there is a bunch of updates I have to, I'm going to finish going over later in this video as well. Stay tuned for that. But just on this note here, there hasn't really, there's been a lot of sentiment, around the Toronto Blue Jays and how good they've been this year and all these different things. But in previous off seasons, it has never been this clear that not only is Ross Atkins and the front office, GM, everybody, obviously Ross Atkins is the GM, but they're going absolutely all in, and it is picture perfectly clear here that other agents, other executives, and other reporters are starting to realize that and report it this way. And you also have this drop from the New York Times, I believe it was, or some sort of New York Post, saying the Jays expected to spend big, make big sense for Tucker, and so do the Giants. This is another report now, and if you've been following the channel, I've been covering each and every one of them. There is half a dozen, almost a dozen reports now, separate, different reporters, linking the Jays to Kyle Tucker, linking the Jays to guys like Ranger Suarez, Framber Valdez, all these different guys. And I'm hoping this isn't the case where the Jays are being used for leverage, but it's hard to think that is the case because there has been a change in, not necessarily, in the past, there has been leverage cases where reports like this from mid-insiders, not the Jeff Passons of the world. And we have a report from Jeff Passan to go over in tomorrow, or a video later today probably, but as stuff comes out, of course. But it's just, there's a completely different sentiment. And this is another report by a New York insider. Things are just different now. You have this from Ken Rosenthal saying that the Toronto Blue Jays are among expected suitors and his expected suitors for Edwin Diaz, Devin Williams, Robert Suarez, Pete Fairbanks. Every article has the Jays in it. And is that the same as last year? Last year, there were a lot of articles with the Jays in it, but not saying they're favorites all the time, though that did happen, of course. But they're not talking about why the Jays, or not talking about who the Jays are in on, talking about why, and for them to be acting like this is absolutely massive. Just for the just for the team, right? And for the ability to, having pitches that aren't just used as leverage and being among the teams that players want to come to. And in this case, the team that players are coming to. We'll have to wait and see, of course, if they sign Bichette, if they get Kyle Tucker. But they're preparing themselves now for something huge here. You can be looking at a Kyle Tucker Bichette offseason. You could be looking at a Bichette Edwin Diaz offseason. But the more reports that come out, the more and more likely I'm starting to believe that not only they're going to get one of the big fish, they're going to get multiple of them. Bichette, Kyle Tucker. And in the past, people were saying, why would anyone go to the Jays? They haven't had a single bit of playoff success since 2016 when, they made the ALCS. Now this team was inches, millimeters, centimeters away from winning the World Series. You have your superstar locked up for years. Why wouldn't you want to come to Toronto? The fan base is great. The players love each other. Everybody, Cy Young winner Shane Bieber is coming back on a discounted deal. Why wouldn't you want to come? And that's how legacies are born. That's how dynasty franchises are born. And these are the reports that help back that up. And folks, let me tell you something. As devastating as the loss was, and as hard, and it's almost dumb sometimes, as soon as the loss was over, to try to find silver linings, the silver lining here clearly is not only was this team as close as ever, that is translating to free agency talks. And we saw it the first day of free agency as soon as it opened with Shane Bieber. We're seeing it now. And the Jays can break the MLB here, truly, if they get Kyle Tucker, Bichette, and they just go all in. They flex the money that they have, top 5 in payroll last year, 5th. And just go for it. Who knows what's going to happen in 2027, if the CBA will be agreed to, if there will be a lockout. You get Kyle Tucker, one of the best players in baseball. You go out and you get maybe an Edwin Diaz, one of the best relievers we've ever seen in the past 10 years, past decade, with the best peripherals in the world. Jeff Hoffman to the 8th inning role. The Jays are interested in all of these guys because guess what? They're shopping at the highest level and they have holes everywhere. Not massive holes, but the Dodgers, they won the World Series in 2024. They come back, they retool, they win it last year, right? You cannot stay pat. You cannot stand pat. And this team is not going to. They're going all in, and they could have just said, we're just going to run it back and get Bo back. They're going bigger than that. And man, is that exciting to see. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Way better than I could have ever imagined thus far. We have to, of course, the Jays, that is, make the moves in order to, the subsequent moves in order for it to actually be a successful offseason. But I promise you guys, and I've been doing this for years now, the reporting feels different because it's not who they're going after, it's why, and the why is what matters. They're going to be able to get these guys. I guarantee it. But what I can't guarantee is the MLB not robbing the Jays again, because they just did. And Keegan Matheson, I'd expected John Schneider to win AL Manager of the Year, and that would have been fully deserved. Regardless, the Blue Jays have their franchise manager in Schneider, and this is, of course, on the back of Stephen Vogt winning for the second straight year AL Manager of the Year. Vogt had 17 first-place votes compared to Schneider's 10. Final points tally was 113 and 91. Now, I think that these were voted on right when the regular season ended and it didn't have any playoff, success accounted to it, because obviously John Schneider should have won this award, and it shouldn't have mattered anyway, right? He should have won it easily. But it goes to show that, let me know down below. I'm not furious about it, because at the end of the day, it's just a Manager of the Year award. He should have won it. He took a team that was coming off of 74 wins, was projected to be last in the AL East by most, to a World Series appearance and almost a World Series victory. He should have won Manager of the Year. It didn't happen, but it is notable for Keegan here, and Ross Atkins said in his press conference, they're going to be bringing John Schneider back. This is their franchise manager. Young players have jump years. Schneider, as a young manager, just had his. And John Schneider, you can say what you want about him. He had that Brennan Little disaster class. They got through that. He's going to be the manager for the next probably decade here, so well-deserved, realistically. Got the team to the World Series, and let's go get him some more talent. Let's make another run for it next year. You guys are absolute beasts. See you later. Cheers.